What does live mean?
It has been. When was the last time we actually did a YouTube live? It's December, November.
End of November was the last time we did a live. Life has been crazy, and just haven't had the energy or time.
And sometimes it's like, well, what are we going to talk about? We've been sitting here in Sanford for a year, and actually it is coming up on our 1-year Sanford-versary now.
Are we having Sanford-versaries?
Why not? Sanford-versaries, yes. But we have been getting out and doing some traveling and making the best of a very bizarre year. But today we're going to talk about one of the coping mechanisms, for better or for worse, that has helped us get through not just this year, but it's something that helps you enjoy life on the road.
Yes. So no secret, we love wine. Most of our lives have included wine. Many of you that we've met in person have gifted us wine, so thank you.
Or we've had a chance to buy you glasses of wine, and yes, it's fun.
Yes, so we thought we'd talk about some of the ways to acquire wine while you're RVing or boating, and some of the things that we've learned over the years to keep our wine cabinets stocked and abundant.
Yes, and quick tip on the wine you keep with you in an RV or a boat is not meant to be stored long term. It is meant to be drunk. This is not the best environment for long term storage of wine. So you got to keep it cycling it through, and stay happy that way.
One of the first questions we get when we talk about wine is, how do you store it long term? And it's like, if you're not doing wine right in a mobile environment, because you're going to have temperature fluctuations in an RV or boat. Even if you're running an air conditioner, there's going to be hot days and cold days.
Some people do have wine coolers and the wine fridges and the cellars. And audio is low. I can turn this up here. Thank you for that little bit of feedback. It looks good on the equalizer here, but we trust Joe because he is our guy. So hopefully, Joe, it is going up now. Give us a thumbs up in the chat.
It has been a long time since we've done a live.
Yep. Okay, Margot says louder too. So we got 2 people. Okay, hopefully louder now. There's about a 40-second delay.
Okay. So we'll wait before we get too much further into this. Anyway, so yeah, storing wine. Don't really plan on long-term storage in an RV or boat. You got motion, so you got bottle shock, and you also have temperature variations that can impact things. So bringing your world-class wine collection on the road
and trying to age it on the road,
probably not the best idea. So we don't tend to store wine too long. In fact, we've had this bottle right here for a year and a half, so we'll be
drinking that tonight.
We're airing it out
That's
now
about as
to
long
enjoy.
As
that's the longest we've kept one. It's one of our better bottles, and so we will be enjoying that one this evening. We'll talk about this bottle later.
And the thumbs up on the audio.
Sounds like audio
awesome.
is better.
Cool.
So, what are the ways that you can acquire wine? Of course, there is the obvious: buy it in a store.
Buy it in a store, which is actually more complicated. There's a lot of people who don't travel don't realize how complicated it can be buying wine and particularly liquor in stores, because what the stores you have to go to change from state to state, and you'll see people's eyes get wide when they're like, wait, there's no wine in the grocery store here? What's going on?
Or I can't buy it on a Sunday. I don't think that's as common anymore. But yeah, the state laws change from state to state as to if it can be sold in a grocery store or a convenience store, or if you have to go to a specialty package store or a state-run store. We got so tired of getting to a new state, going to the grocery store. We had just one trip out into the world from our campground or something, and we get there, it's like, what? There's only 3% beer in the grocery store cabinets in the state. So our very first app that we ever wrote was tracking this stuff.
10 years ago. Over 10 years ago, yeah, iPhones were new and stuff. We're like, let's learn how to do apps, and let's write a guide to the state laws that change as you travel. And actually, the key somewhere over here. That way. Oh, yeah. The laws around liquor are some of the biggest ones that change. So this app State Lines tracks a lot of the laws that change from state to state to state. It's just kind of that traveler's quick reference.
Texting, seatbelt laws, default speed limits, state park fees, if you can overnight in rest areas, that sort of stuff. But it was motivated by
alcohol. Was our first thing. I think it was in Kansas. We thought of it as we're like, seriously, what? This makes no sense. Where do we have to go to buy some wine? What? This is nuts.
Oh, yeah. We were actually working at an Amazon facility during this peak season, before it was called Camper Force, and we just wanted to go buy some beer. And we only, at Amazon, you're working 12-hour days, 6 days a week there. And we had an hour to do our grocery shopping, and we couldn't buy beer in a grocery store there.
And we're like, how? Because just across the state line in Missouri, where I spent a lot of time growing up and stuff and gone to college, you could buy everything in the grocery store basically any time, and so it's
the age.
They didn't really care by the rules there, but it's like, wait, Kansas is sure different than Missouri. I never would have thought. And
So yes, we do. Oh, you can take State Lines down. State Lines is available for iOS and Android now.
Yeah, it looks kind of dated because it's a very old app, but we keep the data and the rules updated.
Yes, we do. So you can buy it in grocery stores. So we do provision. We buy our grocery store level wines when we do our grocery shopping, or we go to a club store like a Costco or BJ's or something like that. In the States where you can't do that, we usually aren't the type to go to a liquor store that often, but if we have to, we will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we will. And it's usually, we prefer grocery stores, I guess.
Oh, look, Joe's being a link wizard tonight. Joe, it's so good to be back with you.
So, if anybody's following in the chat, Joe is a friend of ours, and sometimes he does our mobile internet resource center chats, and his job is to fill in the links to things we talk about, and he's just showing up and doing it here too. So Joe is a rock star. We love Joe. We owe you a bottle of wine.
Next time we get together. All right, so buying it in stores. Of course, one tip that we found over the years is, of course, boxed wine. Carrying these bottles around is iffy in an RV or a boat. Mm-hmm. You're moving, they can shake, they can break. They're bulky, they can be difficult to store.
And the trash it's bulky trash, because they're just as big once they're empty as when they're full. So we are often box wine fans, but the problem is the false advertising, because they say they'll last 4 weeks.
I think they say they'll stay fresh for 4 weeks.
No. Oh, okay. I guess. Okay. I've been confused all these years. But one of my favorite things about the box wines here is once you're done, they all come with a free travel pillow inside, so you can nap it off. What?
You got a lot of mileage out of that joke.
It is a true thing, and I've had good naps on the boxed wine travel pillows, and they're very comfy. But you just inflate them.
But the boxes are a lot easier to carry, a lot less waste, and there are some good ones out there that aren't, the grocery store variety wines or something around there. We default to Boda Box. They have a wide variety, like Revolution and the Old Vines Inn and their Nighthawk Black Blend. Those are some of our favorites. We tend to like full-bodied reds.
I tend to like full-bodied reds. Yes. Yeah, that's my thing.
So, that's Boda Box is great. We did a black box this last van trip. We tend to do the box wines more when we're traveling in the van because we have less storage space. So we can get 4 bottles of wine in one nice container that we can just keep out on the counter.
And there used to be the assumption that boxed wine was crappy wine, but actually a lot of the boxed wine brands are actually really decent mid-range and sometimes actually quite good wines. And we're not expensive wine people, so it's no longer
no. We do appreciate
yes.
I just that's not my default wine.
Right. But yeah, so if you still poo-poo box wines from their assumption of like years ago when it was all super low-end box wine as cheap as you can get, Franzia stuff, there's much better box wines to have, and they're very Nomad friendly.
Right, like a bottle of Boda Box, it's 4 bottles of wine.
We even know people who like
$15 to $20
have little box wine cozies and stuff to decorate them so they look good sitting out on their counters. But hey.
But it's a little bit of waste. So box wine's a great resource if you're not too picky about your wines. All right, next one is of course visiting wineries. If you're traveling, you have the opportunity to visit wineries in new locales and experience the local winemaking culture. They might have different fruits and grapes that they're using, and that's a great way. There are of course, areas that are known for wineries, Napa Valley, Lodi, Pasos Robles.
Central Missouri.
Fredericksburg, Texas is one that we love when we pass through through Texas on our cross-country trips.
It is a total, because you get to try wines that you don't really find at the grocery stores. And you usually get the stories behind them and everything else. And
this is a great creek.
And, a lot of our viewers have heard of Harvest Host, but a lot of them maybe haven't. Harvest Hosts, we've been using Harvest Host forever.
Yeah, so we're friends with Kim and Don Green, who founded Harvest Host. They spent a lot of time RVing in Europe, where it's pretty common for wineries and breweries and farms to allow camper van travelers to stay at the wineries. So they wanted to bring that concept to the U.S. and they rolled that out. I think it was 2008, 2009 when they did that, and they gifted us a lifetime membership back then. And it's great because you can visit wineries, breweries, museums. We've been to like plantations and
there's all sorts of
farms.
Things. Yeah, and Harvest Host has been expanding a lot for there's a downside to that, but the nice thing about it is you go, you make the phone call, say, hey, I'm a Harvest Host member, and do you have any availability for us to park in your place on Tuesday? And you usually can stay just overnight, one night.
And don't look at it as free camping.
No.
It is, look at it more from you get the opportunity to stay overnight in the places you're supporting. So don't go in just being a freeloader.
No.
When you're paying Harvest Host a membership fee, you're paying for access to this list. The hosts are not getting paid by Harvest Hosts. The hosts are doing this
because they hope you'll come in and buy wine or tour their museum or go visit the brewery and do all this stuff. But because you're their guest, you kind of get this, like we've had some amazing experiences where you're like kind of, the winemaker's like, okay, the tasting room shuts down at 5 and I'll just wait till then and I want to hang out with you and we're going to, I'll give you a walk through the vineyards and all this stuff. It's like you kind of get this behind the scenes thing before they then leave you for the night to sleep in a vineyard.
And that was really true in the beginning days of Harvest Host because there weren't that many of us RVers using it, and we would get to a host where they hadn't had someone in weeks. Maybe months, we were the first, and it was a unique experience for them and for us. Now it's becoming much more common now. It was purchased a few years back from Don and Kim. They were able to retire out of it, and the new owner has taken a much more aggressive marketing approach with affiliates.
Growing.
It's huge. They increased the membership fee. I think it's $79 a year now. I think it's about to go up to $99, and now they are encouraging members to refer other people towards it with an affiliate link, which, yes, we have an affiliate link.
Hey, there we go.
You can find that. You'll get, say, 15%, and we'll get a $15 referral fee.
Yeah. And we used to tell people that Harvest Host was like a no-brainer. Join it if you traveled around, particularly if you like to be quickly mobile. Now you've got to definitely weigh how much use you will get out of this. It can still, I mean, it can give you some really great experiences. And we're looking forward to getting our van out and doing some more.
It's been over a year since we've done any, so I'm looking forward to getting back to them. But we have found before, when we were last actively RVing cross country anyway, when we did show up to them, there were more people there staying at the hosts, and the hosts were not as, I mean, they're still friendly and they love the program, but they don't have as much time to spend individually with everybody.
It's more now kind of regimented than it was in the early days, but it's still, we've had some absolutely mad. We've shown up at like wineries and they're like, hope you don't mind, it's going to be a little loud because we're having a music festival and you're going to be camped right front row seat. Like, oh darn, okay, we're front row for a music festival at a winery with food trucks all lining the road. It's like, how cool is that?
Yeah,
and all these other amazing experiences.
Really cool experiences with it. It is worthwhile, but they're out of the way. It's only a one night stay. They don't usually provide hookups. So, it is something that you have to kind of plan around. And we're more the style that if we're going somewhere, we want to stay more than a night. But
then again, we have used Harvest Host to, instead of a Walmart, we'll call ahead for a Harvest Host
and
do a little bit out of our way to hop around. And there's some that are close to freeways too. We've had some good stops.
Yes. And it's not just wineries.
Not just wineries. Car museums.
Yes,
airplane museums.
Yes, we've had some really cool stays over there. Okay. All right. So next one, besides visiting the wineries, when you go visit these wineries, you may learn about wine clubs.
Most wineries will try to pitch you on their wine club, particularly if you're a lot of wineries have clubs where they want you to subscribe. You basically then they all have different rules and different programs, but you subscribe to their wine club and then they send you more wine. It's kind of
not for free.
No.
But it's basically a way to you go to a winery that you love, like we loved Grape Creek in Fredericksburg, Texas. Their wine club was fairly flexible. Some have commitments, some don't allow you to change your shipping address, some are only designed for locals to get the wine. But there's all sorts of them. But if you can find one that fits your patterns, or maybe you're a part-time RVer
and it fits your tastes too, because you're going to get a lot of wine from one winery in that regard.
Right. So we did sign up with Grape Creek. This one was across from our campground that we stayed at for a month in Fredericksburg. Grape Creek was fantastic. Their wine club, you got a free glass of wine every single day you went to their winery. Well, we're right across the street. Was that a difficult decision?
We basically we cut off work early and have happy hour almost every single day. Go across the street to the winery, and the wine club was a big boon for us being there for a month. And
it was great wine.
And it didn't have a long-term commitment. So once we were gone, we kept it going for a couple months, and couple next shipments. I guess. Well,
we knew our next shipment was going to. So one of the considerations with a wine club as an RVer or boater when you are traveling is there are a handful of states where you cannot receive wine shipments. It's like let's see if I remember, Arkansas, New Jersey, Utah. There's a handful. I've got them down in a comment down in the description. But so when you're in those states, you can't receive them. You also do need to keep on top of your shipping address and changing it with a winery before they ship, which can be difficult. So they don't always let you know they're getting ready.
Or they tell you the wrong dates. Like, let us know by this date, and if you change your address, we can adjust it. Well, we ran into that with Grape Creek, where they're like, "Oh, we've already sent the shipments out early because we were ahead of schedule this month." Like that just went. You shipped wine to Arizona, where we're not.
We're not there anymore. Grape Creek fortunately had a 1 month, a one shipment commitment to be in their wine club to get all that free wine that we drank. We loved it. This is one of our last bottles from that shipment. Be very careful with those wine clubs because they might not be a fit for nomadic life. And of course, you're committing to one winery. And us nomads tend to like to commit to one location.
We like variety, which is why we found kind of a different kind of wine club that we've gotten hooked on now.
Yes, so we found Naked Wines, which I found on Facebook because it kept advertising to me because I guess Facebook thinks I like wine for some reason. Anyway, this one is proving to be pretty darn flexible. So number one, it's not a specific winery. They support a lot of local wineries. They back them. So when you join Naked Wines, you are committing to a $40 per month prepayment, and then that goes towards your wine purchase.
Yes, and you're just building up this credit if you don't have something come. And then, before I take the picture away,
there's our box, last box.
The boxes come, you basically get a case of wine at a time.
But it's on your schedule. You choose when you get your shipment, and you choose what goes in that box from all of their wineries. You can have them assemble you a wine case. You rate your wines, and so they'll even do it based on your recommendations.
It's kind of like Netflix, where they learn the things you like, and the stuff that they recommend bubbles up to the top based on the feedback you give them, which has bine kind of fun.
Right, and they also have preset variety packs, like for Thanksgiving. They had a Thanksgiving pack that was meant to kind of accommodate
families of different tastes.
They weren't quite taking into account COVID, and that no one should have been meeting up with large groups. But we ordered that one and had a variety of wines. And then now we kind of take our favorites, and then we always try a few extras. But you pick when you want to. You can change your address at any time. There are no commitments. You can cancel at any time. And even if you don't use all of your prepaid credit, you can get a refund on. You can even put it on pause if you're like going to be traveling in a state that doesn't do shipments for a while. You just put that payment on pause.
Yeah, so we've been very impressed with the wines we've seen from Naked Winery. There are a lot of very small vineyards, and actually in some cases they call you you're being an angel investor, where the Naked Wines is prepaying and helping the winemakers create their wines and then feed them back into this program. So that you'll see some of the wines are labeled like this was funded by Naked Wines, you're an angel, and stuff like that. And we've had some really incredible wines. When you leave feedback, sometimes the actual winemaker will respond, which kind of freaked us out the first time.
And you would think that something this would be really expensive, and it's not. Like, this bottle is one of our favorites that we found. It's
Rocket Like a Redhead.
Rocket Like a Redhead, which, it's a Syrah. And it's only $9.99 at the Angel pricing. So it's been a really, really good wine that we love. This is one we always put a couple bottles on every shipment that we get. Enjoy it, but $10. This one is Rabbit and Spaghetti is one of our favorites that we've been liking, and these are like $12 to $15. So most of the ones we get are in the $10 to $15 range, which is not much more we purchase for a grocery store variety wine. And the shipments are free.
And you get such a great variety from it also.
So they do have a referral program, of course, and we don't recommend things that we don't love. If you want to use our referral, you will get a $100 trial credit towards your first order of $159. So if you
get a lot of wine for $59.
For $159 minus $100, you get for $60 with free shipping. You can get 12 bottles of wine and try this out. They'll give you temporary access to their Angel program and benefits, and then you can sign up for the Angel program if you want to. Yeah. If you do, then we get a $40 credit towards our wine habit. So it's a wine situation here.
Yeah, we're not sponsored by them in any fashion. They
have no clue we're doing this.
But we've been impressed. We stumbled across it via an ad, and we're like, we're liking this program.
Yeah, we've been using it since November. It's been great while we've been home based here in Sanford, Florida, aboard the boat. But we've envisioned when we are traveling again, that we will keep it because it is so flexible.
Yeah, you have so much control over the shipping and you have so much variety as opposed to the more traditional wine clubs. So we're digging this one.
Yep. So Naked Wines, we think that is a Nomad approved wine club that works on the road. Next is, of course, our favorite way of getting wine, and that's when our kind followers, i.e. you, we finally get to meet in person, is when you gift us a bottle of wine. That has been a great way for us to experience a variety of wines, try some of your favorites.
We've had actually even homemade wine and stuff brought to us. And
yes, it's really fun when someone discovers where we are and they just quietly leave a bottle of wine on our doorstep with a nice note. We've had that happen a few times. Or if we have pre-scheduled a meeting, having someone show up with a bottle. Now, we don't expect it.
It's a requirement.
If you meet us, you don't have to bring a bottle of wine.
We've had such wonderful, particularly in the non-COVID world, where we can actually get together and share that bottle of wine sometimes with the people, and we've and get the story behind it and everything else. So we've had people share their wine adventures or their favorite Harvest Host experience, and they're carrying around a bottle and like, hey, we want to share this with you guys. And it's like, oh, cool.
It's been a really great way, because we don't do this for anything else than fun. All right. Okay. So I think that wraps up the wine talk.
Which means now we get Kiki to drink the wine. Kiki. Oh, she wines. Yes.
Hi. Yes. Kiki has her favorite whining too. Okay. So we are now sitting here. I am going to pour this bottle of Grape Creek. This is their invention. I think it's one that they only ship to their wine club members. It's one of their special blends.
Okay, I think we might be back. We thought it was an internet issue, but it was actually a reaching for the wine and pouring it issue that bumped the Ethernet cable.
Okay,
yes. Okay.
So Chris has it set up going to Ethernet.
Because normally that avoids
Wi-Fi
any
drops.
signal interference.
And when I grabbed the bottle of wine, it bumped it. So, anyway.
And I'm thinking, like, how'd our internet go down? We had 60 megabits.
I had
What's
it
going
all
on? I had, like...
Oh, Kiki stepped on the keyboard. Yeah, that's a good... Yeah. It was Kiki. Kiki.
Sometimes when you reach for the wine, you hit the cable. I think. Yeah, into the wine, not the cable. It's like... So, yeah, we had a...
Okay. All right. So I have poured us a bottle of Grape Creek Invention.
A glass. Not quite a bottle yet. Give us time.
This is what we're having. This is one from our last shipment from the Grape Creek Wine Club.
Cheers. Cheers to tech difficulties, and at least it resumes.
Cheers to you, and always look in the eyes when you toast someone, or else you know what happens. It's like 7 years of bad sex or something.
Definitely bad luck, so...
Oh my. Yeah, that one's really good.
Yeah, we often stick to the sub $20 bottles.
This was like a $30 bottle.
Every so often we splurge, and it's good stuff.
Too much wine before the no wine before this broadcast.
No, it's too much wires dangling.
Too many wires
across the thing.
So anyway, we are here. We will hang out for a while and answer any questions you have about wine, about nomadic life, RVs, boats. Just our one request: no mobile internet questions. That's our day job. If you have questions about mobile internet, go on over to our Mobile Internet Resource Center YouTube channel or mobileinternetinfo.com, where you'll find gobbles and gobbles of information on that topic.
Yes, I like that Troy's like, we had to pause so they wouldn't see us swigging from the bottle. It's like
not something that good. No.
Yes.
So I know some of the questions that will come up is, yes, we are still in Sanford. Later this week, we will be recognizing having pulled in here a year ago, where we decided to wait out the pandemic year. Not that we don't feel travel can be done safely at this time. It just wouldn't have been as much fun. And we have been enjoying doing a lot of van trips from here. So there's wonderful state parks in Florida, and we just actually came back from a 12-day trip park hopping around the state.
Yeah, using our electric bikes. Finally showed up. If you saw kind of the old post and video, we got electric bikes, and they finally arrived. We got to put a lot of miles. I think we're about 100. I want to call out Margot bought our Technomadia app collection. It looks like she's on iOS now. So she's a Blue Bubble person.
Blue Bubbles, Margot! Yay!
Yay! So cool. You're no longer a green bubble to us. Cool.
Let's see what else is coming up. Chris, on April 1st, will be recognizing his 15 years since he hit the road originally.
Oh my God, 15 years! Wow. Means, how old am I now? I don't know. This is getting crazy.
Yes. Well, how old we are is Florida just dropped the vaccination. Well, tomorrow we'll be dropping the vaccination age limit to 50. So we're getting closer. Next age bracket, we should be in there.
Yes, thank you. We're looking forward to. It's like we haven't wanted to go inside a winery in a year. So
yes. Okay. So if you have any questions,
I just want to say hi. We're now paying more attention to the chat room. Go. Hey, we're back. Blah, 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 blah. Thoughts on the Nomadland movie? Do you want to take that one?
Okay, we can talk about Nomadland.
We just watched it last week, right?
Yeah, we just finally watched it. We're actually thinking about doing a special post just on it. So back in 2014, is it Julie who wrote the book? Is that her name? Anyway, the woman who wrote the book,
before the book came out,
had written an article in Harper's Magazine that spread a whole bunch of media attention towards that all RVers working on the road were doing it at a destitution.
Or that was kind of, it was kind of this very negative vibe story, and so we actually got called and put on interviews to be kind of the counterpoint to her way back in the day.
So yeah, we've been watching it for quite a while. The book we have not read at this point, but apparently it follows more of the original article, which is more following the hardships of work campers who are having to do it because they have no other choice. And the movie, I felt, was a more positive spin on it, showing the lifestyle more as a choice and less of a need or last alternative to homelessness, which was the original intent of the book.
Like in the movie, the spoiler alert, please, the main character chooses to stay on the road, has an opportunity to go live in 2 different places, is called in and chooses life on the road, chooses the positive side of it all, and it's actually kind of a heroic story. But the soundtrack and the coloring of the movie is like this pensive, moody, down music, and it's this like bleak, washed out coloring. It makes it just feel dark and hopeless, even though the story is actually very positive and hopeful. So
right, it was just really weird to be mixing reality with a fictional character, because Vern was completely fictionalized, a conglomeration of several characters from the book, and a manifestation of the actress's desire to go hit the road. So it was kind of odd to have her mixing in with the RTR community, Bob Wells and Swanky Wheels, who
a lot of the people are real in this.
But it was weird because Swanky Wheels was playing a fictionalized character of herself and dies at the end of the movie when she's still alive.
Yes. So it was showing a lot of the places that a lot of us RVers have been. It shows them
a lot of familiarity.
Yeah, it was kind of this mix of I had very mixed feelings about it. It's like it got some things that caught the essence right, and some things it was like you have it so backwards, and you're just put more hopeful music and better color grading, and it would have been a completely different movie.
Pick a direction if you're going to go off the book, or if you're going to create its own unique story. It was a good overall movie. I think it did present one version of the nomadic lifestyle, not necessarily the one that we are on.
Yep.
And it's not necessarily the one that the book was originally intended to tell. So
there you go. Oh, Ron is here. Awesome. Hey, Ron. Someone there.
Ice or no ice in your wine? Well, if it's a light white wine that we're having on a hot afternoon,
and we forgot to chill it in advance.
Yes, we do enjoy some ice with our wine, but with our deep reds, no
ice in red wine, and no ice in expensive white wines, but in like the cheap, basic, like hot afternoon discount white wine, sometimes ice really kind of ups the refreshment level, and actually you can get interesting and make it some, add some bubbly water, add some juice, and make it into kind of a really light and refreshing drink too. So we've done like a little wine, our own custom wine spritzers and stuff. Let's see. Jessica Bruder, that was the name of the
Jessica
author.
Bruder,
Okay,
yes.
So that's it, yes.
Yes.
And Geeks on Tour had a similar thing of the discrepancies in the Nomad land. Absolutely.
I mean, all book to movie adaptations do. I think this one was pretty divergent. It was 2 different stories.
Margot recommends putting some frozen fruit in wine, and that's actually a great way to chill it. We don't do that very often, but it's a good idea. Humble Road says they miss our Rambling series. And for those who haven't checked it out, this was a series of interviews with nomads that ran for how many years?
We did it mostly in 2010, 2011. We did 30 different interviews with different nomads on the road at the time. It was a fun little series. It was at our very beginning days of YouTube, though. And it just got tiring to be constant. Well, it got to a point where it used to be we were interviewing our friends after spending time with them,
and we'd say, hey, do you want to be in the Rambling series?
And it came to a point where people were only seeking us out to be featured in it, and it just got weird.
There was some like weird pressure because it was one of the top things you'd find on YouTube for searching for RVer interviews and
so many YouTubers start out with doing interviews with other nomads, so
other people have
we thought 30 episodes was quite good. We did think about at the beginning of the pandemic, before we lost a lot of energy and steam, was getting some of those original Ramblings nomads on a live cast like this and interviewing them. So we might try to do that again at some future point, because some of them have interesting stories.
Where are they now ago. Kind of, I know that's kind of a thing in television right now. There's a lot of things are doing like where are they now for people who are an old TV series. So hey, maybe we'll do a Ramblings reunion series for maybe. This is a very important question. How do you ride your e-bikes with a glass of wine, and how do you keep it from splashing about?
Sippy cups.
Sippy cups, or smarter. You save the treats for after the ride. It's that's the way we do it.
I guess that's the adult way of doing it.
And Troy is pointing out box wines. Big stores do deliveries, and have we had the opportunity to have wine delivered?
Yes, so we did before we tried out Naked Wines. We did Total Wines here in Orlando. Unfortunately, they don't deliver to our location, so we had to do it by shipment. It did work out pretty well. They have
They have a good shipping policy.
They have a decent selection and decent pricing. I found it really difficult though because they offer so many different sizes of bottles that when I thought I was ordering a case, I didn't notice that I had a 1 liter or a half liter bottle, and then like what I thought was a case and getting the case pricing or the case shipping, it would actually came in 2 boxes because I got disappointed with them after
their shopping cart was a little deceptive or misleading sometimes because they have all these promotions and you think, oh, I'm getting a great deal, and then you end up not quite getting it because they're
too much to figure out. They didn't tell you.
You have to
like
study to line up your promotions. I just prefer the simplicity of something else.
Naked Wines has turned out to be a lot easier for us.
But we also have gotten delivery from Instacart from grocery stores because we have not been inside grocery stores. So
much at all.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Joe has shared the link to the Rambling series.
Yes, of course the Geeks on Tour remember Ramblings. They were in it.
Yes.
So maybe they can be one of our first lives.
Yeah, where are they now? Where are they now? Are they still on tour? That's the question.
We've met up with them many times since that first meeting.
Plastic or glass for your wine? Another good question for Nomads. Right now we actually have the good glasses.
Yeah, so we actually did splurge when we decided to be home based and actually got nice, I think it was a balloon style glass. These are actual crystal, but they are Amazon basics. They're like,
make the noise.
Yes, these are like $4 glasses. So when they break, because they do, we're not crying too much over it. We don't really drink out of plastic unless it's really cheap wine. But we do have aluminum glasses that we use in the van. We don't do glass in the van.
Yeah, and even in the bus, we don't really. We have tried the ones, but in the boat, we've got a nice wine glass rack over the sink and stuff, so the glasses are a bit more protected, and we have only broken 1 glass on the boat. But and then when we're up on deck, we don't take glass up on deck usually.
So there was another.
What's this?
Kalu.
And general advice for a newbie. That's big question.
That's a big question. I would really recommend watch a lot of YouTubers and just learn as much as you can, but don't follow someone else's formula. Do your own thing.
Yeah, and don't
be open to experiences.
And don't be afraid to make mistakes and stuff. Even a lot of the newbie mistakes are some of the things that really cement things in your head. They're the stories you'll tell years down the road. Every RVer needs to have a dump station gone wrong story, so you might as well get it out of the way sooner than later, right? Just don't mix it with...
You'll keep having it later too. But yeah, just be flexible, be adaptable, and go with the flow, and you'll have a great time.
I have a question for Kiki. How old are you now?
Kiki? She turned 12 in October. So
she's almost old enough to start drinking her own wine.
Yes. Hopefully she's with us long enough to drink her own wine.
Okay. And what else we got?
Any Pinot Noir recommendations? Pinot Noir is actually one grape that we don't often enjoy as much. It's not one that we
don't gravitate to that too often.
No, we tend to like Cabs, Merlots, blends. Syrah and Tempranillo tend to be the grapes that we gravitate towards.
And then just sometimes just the unusual, unique things. And even here in Sanford, we've got a little winery right up the road that's got some kind of unique wines that are fun to try. And Margot is passing on the advice of go to an Escapers Convergent. Yes,
they are starting out. So Escapers is part of the Escapees RV Club. We helped them found the Escapers, more geared towards the working aged RVer. Note the word aged, not necessarily working. And they're fantastic. I mean, what they've done with this idea that we helped them launch back in 2015 is just incredible. It's grown to a vibrant community. They just actually had a summit at the beginning of this month that we were part of with a whole bunch of advice for working remotely on the road.
Right.
I think you can still get the all access pass to that. That was a fantastic summit with a lot of great information on the working side and the business logistics. But Escapers in general is a fabulous organization to grow, to join, or Escapees if you lean more towards the retiree side of things.
Working age or working still versus the retired side. But either side, there are 2 doors to the same club, and there's just all such good people. We love the escapees, and then the escapers are our blood. So
yes, literal blood. In that case.
Yes.
But yeah, they are starting back up their convergences. I think 4th of July in Salida, Colorado will be their first. Tickets go on sale in early April.
There it is, yeah.
And
sale in May. Okay.
I thought April 7th is what I heard.
Okay.
And then the Escapade, which is the Escapees RV Club big annual event, is coming back. I think that's in Wyoming in June, I think. We will not be at any of these. They're just way too far away from where we are right now. And we probably will not be able to be vaccinated until the end of this month, which means we've got 6 weeks before we're safe to interact with people.
We're a lot hinges on vaccinations and just how the country goes. So we've been in super avoiding anything with groups. So, Nancy has a request for us. Can we name some Victoria, Australia wines? If you let us taste them, I'm happy to make up names. I'm good at naming things.
This one I know is Australian. Is it? Where in Australia was this one from? Wine of Australia.
That's the rabbit and spaghettis, right?
This is from Clare, South Australia. Is that close enough?
Yeah, this one's good. The rabbit and spaghetti ones, because they used to make rabbits out of spaghetti or feed spaghetti to rabbits. I know there's a whole story on the back of the bottle. No, but I'm happy if you give me a wine that doesn't have a name, I will come up with a name for it if you want to put it on a label. That sounds good. Okay. And the Escapade, the geeks are sharing that. The date for the Escapade coming up.
Margot wants to know when we're eligible for vaccination. So Florida tomorrow is going to 50 and over. We're at our late 40s. And there is one convention center mass vaccination site, one county over, that is actually rumored to be breaking the state rules and going to 40 and over. It's a bit of a drive, especially if we have to go back for a second one. So I think Florida is going to be going lower by the end of this month. So we should be eligible
by the end of this week. So the logjam seems to be breaking, and hopefully within at least a week or two, we'll know when our vaccination date is. Fingers, toes, everything is crossed.
And then we can start making more longer term plans. But we're considering doing a river cruise, like up to Jacksonville and back in the boat this spring. Mm-hmm. We are waiting for delivery of a new air conditioner for the boat to install in before we can really do that, I think.
Well, it would be ideal.
It would be most ideal. So unfortunately, we don't have shipping details, thanks to Medic. And then we're kind of contemplating, once we're vaccinated, is by then it'll be too late season to really start cruising beyond without having to be really, really conscious of hurricane season. And this is not a good
year for doing the Great Loop, and so many things aren't going to be open yet anyway, so we're not really aspiring to start looping again or do anything like that this year.
It's really hard to store the boat long term in Georgia or South Carolina because they have different taxation rules and things like that. So we'd have to get pretty far north to get out of the hurricane zone, and then dealing with a lot of unknowns of if we need to store. And I just so we're contemplating just continuing to store the boat in Sanford for this hurricane season. It's just about as safe as you can get in the hurricane zone, and then doing a van trip out to the bus in Arizona, and then potentially doing maybe some of the convergences with escapers later in the summer. I think there's some in the Tetons in Colorado and things like that.
And hooking up with that or driving, just getting some van and or bus time out west over the summer, and then be back here for winter and maybe cruising someplace. So, but again, a lot depends on how the world shapes up, how the pandemic hopefully fizzles down, and what just opens.
Yeah, those are the plans that we're contemplating right now. It's really hard to make plans still.
Yes.
So it's more in fantasy land. But in the meantime, we have been enjoying we've been doing more and more extended van trips. So we went up to South Carolina, met up with socially distanced with some friends on the beach in South Carolina a few weeks back. We just did 10 days out in the van doing park hopping around the state.
Yeah, a mix of friends, a mix of family, and a mix of just solo time. So we had a really nice mix of spreading stuff out on the van trip. I got a question from Ron here. He's a newbie to wine and wants to learn how to begin to grow his appreciation. And visiting wineries is actually one of the best things, because when you visit a winery, they'll give you a tasting flight, and if you're there and it's not crowded, the winemakers in particular just love to talk about wine and why things are and let you taste and compare. And if you get a few good experiences like that, you'll start to learn what you like. And you can get as high-end and snooty and detailed and dive deep as you want, or just like whatever tastes good.
Yeah. Do some wine tastings, go to some of those flights at some of the wineries, hang out with people who like wine, and ask them, and share some wines. And it took me a while to really gain an appreciation. My wine appreciation came from before I met Chris. I dated a wine consultant, so I got a wide variety of wine education and tastings of wines that he would bring home after the end of his day out. Yeah. Doing wine consulting for a lot of things. So that really opened up my eyes to the world of wine.
So if you can't visit wineries,
date a wine consultant.
Yes. And anything else? I think we're catching up on actual questions here.
Not so many questions.
And this has been 45 minutes with only one minor interruption. I'm glad it wasn't technical this time.
Yes, it was. Yeah, okay. I didn't know that was our source of internet.
That's the internet there.
I would have been more careful with it.
I should have put a little warning sign.
You should have told me.
Yes, but good. Yeah, this has been fun. It's been fun to do a live for the first time in so long. If you guys like this, thumbs it up and tell us you want us to do more lives, because maybe we'll do them. And if you have things that you want us to talk about live, let us know. Maybe they will do that too.
Yes. Yeah, so work is keeping us super busy. Mobile internet is changing faster than we can keep up with. More and more people are hitting the road and wanting to keep connected. So business is going really well, but keeping us super busy. We're really struggling to keep a work-life balance right now, which is cutting into our time to do fun content on Technomadia. Right. So we have some stuff that we've shot. I just have to find the time and the energy to want to sit down and produce it. So hopefully that will come as we can. Technomadia is always our fun space, so we have no pressure to have to, but I kind of want to, because we're creators. But it would be nice to produce some content that's not about mobile internet for once.
Yes, and this is fun, because when we're doing our mobile internet stuff, we usually don't get to drink wine while we're doing our videos.
Yeah, so we had to be more professional. We started it off all about the wine being an essential part of a mobile internet arsenal. If you can't get connected, you might as well drink. That was in our original book. But, apparently as you get larger and establish a real business, you can't do that as much. So.
Yeah, I know. Okay, well, thank you guys all for joining us. It is actually great to see so many familiar names and faces popping up and little icons here in the chat. And
I see if you have mobile internet questions, go to the Mobile Internet Resource Center.
When we're doing Technomadia stuff, we don't talk about internet, because that's our day job, which we talk about and do videos about all the time.
We have about 6 videos on Starlink over the Mobile Internet Resource Center channel with that sort of advice. So go watch that.
Yeah, and actually, we put a Starlink video out just a couple weeks ago. Yep. 10 days ago. Yeah, I was on this trip, on this past van trip. So big Starlink video. Go watch it. Other channel.
So anyway, big takeaways from this video are: enjoy wine and share it with friends. And we are delighted to spend time with you this evening. I toast to you. And remember, most important takeaway, look people in the eyes when you toast them, or it's 7 years of bad sex.
See you guys.